Hey everyone, welcome back to yet another episode of GenAI Vlog. So I got an interesting episode for you guys today. We're going to be talking about how to deploy a Bedrock large language model to AWS Lambda. So that's right, we're going to be talking about a couple of things here today, including create artifact for Lambda function, and on top of that, we're going to stand up an API and try to invoke it and potentially expand it to a couple of different front-end languages to see how that works. So with that being said, let's turn our attention to the screen. Everything is open sourced. So I have this AWS deploy Bedrock on Lambda GitHub repo. This is a live URL. And what that means is everything is up here, instructions is up here. And what we're going to do is very straightforward. So everything is on AWS, and that's the highlight of today's video. So what's happening is we're going to create a Lambda function that is backed by some sort of large language model. And then we're going to stand up an API gateway so that we can invoke this model. And then hopefully we get some JSON response back. So with that being said, let me show you guys what the end game look like. So you're in your favorite language. In this case, I'm in the Python notebook, and this is the URL, right? This is the URL that invoke that Lambda function. And then to invoke this Lambda function, I need to have a payload, right? For example, I can have my JSON payload here in Python. What that means is it's a dictionary. And then inside of this dictionary, I have a couple of things I can play around, right? I have my conventional prompt. This is pretty much any questions I want to ask because it's a large language model. You can just send in any string. And then you can control the length of the answer response. You can control the temperature, the top percentage, things like that. And then once you have all these payloads, that's essentially the argument, right? The argument of the API or the argument or the payload of the API, that's what this payload is about. Once you have your payload, you specify the header, you are all set. And in this case, as you can see, we don't really need any special Python packages. You can use request and get away with pretty much everything. So you set up a try except statement so that you can fail gracefully if something goes wrong. And then you just make your API call. And what that means is you're sending your API URL, the headers, and whatever the data is, in this case, it's a payload. So you make an API call. If it's successful, you grab the response and then you display it, right? You print it out. You can save it somewhere, whatever you like. So if I run the script, then on the left-hand side, as you see, there's a JSON file. I can print that out. It will give me the response that I want. What is 1 plus 2? The answer is 3, right? You get the idea. And then here I control token to be 30. So in this particular response that I tested out, the token is only 8, and that makes sense. That's less than 30. So that is what the response look like. You can, of course, run this in a Python window. It will look like that. So that's how this works in Python. You can, of course, take this to any front-end language you like, Swift, Node.js, things like that. If you scroll down to the final instruction, I have different languages. For example, this is the invoke API in Node.js, or you can do it in Swift, depending on what is the front-end platform that you end up using. So that being said, now that is the end game, right? Now, how do we do this? Well, number one artifact that we need to create is a Lambda, right? Lambda has a Lambda function. Lambda function, I'm going to use Python as a backend language. So how it works is you're going to have some sort of initialization. In this case, you use Photo3 because that's the standard package in Lambda. And then you need to have Lambda handler. This Lambda handler is going to grab whatever payload is in the event. And then once we grab that, we're going to try to basically extract that and define that as body. So once we have this body, we have to extract all of the things out of it, right? So when I say things out of the body, I'm talking about the parameters, right? The argument, right? The argument can be prompt. That's one argument, right? Token, that's another argument. Temperature, top percentage, things like that. Here, I use this .get method just in case that sometimes the user might forgot certain things. Then hopefully we have a default string here or a default number for tokens so that we don't fail this, right? So this .get method allows us to have some sort of default setup. So once that's done, that's essentially all the arguments that you need, you can then make an API call, right? Here I have an accept statement to essentially let it fail gracefully if the JSON file is malformed. So once you have the JSON file, you have the argument, then you can pretty much set things up to make that API call. So here I have the K args, and then down here, I basically make an API call. So here I invoke the model, and model takes this K args as argument, and the model ID is Amazon.Titan TG1 large, right? So that is a Titan model ID. And of course, everybody is going to use their own model. You can use the other model IDs on the Bedrock platform. But essentially, every model ID has its own style of the payload in its body. So you make an API call, whatever response you get back, you can probably use this line of code to decode it, right? Because you don't want it to be just a chunk of ugly string. And then whatever the return is, you send that into a JSON payload so that the API can return that to the user. Now, of course, you also want to fail gracefully, so you have this except statement to handle the exceptions. So that's pretty much it. That's the artifact of the Lambda function. And then if you back out the level, I have a sample payload here to make sure that we can test things out before we put it in production. So now we have the understanding of what this looks like. I can then take you to AWS console. So this is my AWS console for Lambda functions. Right now, I'm under Lambda functions, and then this particular function is test Bedrock v2. So I essentially create this Lambda function, and then I have a Lambda layer created. And then in regards to Lambda layer, I actually have a notes on my GitHub repo to show you guys what happens when this photo 3 is out of date. To handle that kind of situation, what you're going to do is you can actually go to the terminal on AWS console and essentially run through these commands to install your own Bedrock layer and pack it up in a Lambda layer and push that zip file as an artifact onto Lambda functions as a publisher layer. So I already went through these steps. I'm going to show you what the final product looks like. You go to the left and then you click on layers. This is going to take you to the layers. And as you can see here, I have a Bedrock layer, and that's what that's about. So go in here, you have your ARN, and you just grab your ARN, and you are all set. So that's how I create this layer. Once this layer is created, then all you need is the artifact. So here I'm in the code section, and I have pretty much all the Python artifact inside of this Lambda function.py script. So if I zoom in a little bit, that's what that looks like. So all the scripts are here. On top of that, I have a test1. That's essentially a sample JSON test event that I can set up, and I can save, I can invoke to just make sure that this thing runs locally. Great. So as you can see here, everything runs locally. I already tested. I got a status code 200. That means the status is successful. So once I'm comfortable with the local environment, then I can deploy this and stand up an API. So what that means is on this function overview, I can then add a trigger. And once you click add a trigger, you just select the API gateway, and then that will bring you to this trigger. You can click in this link that's on API gateway, and that will bring you to this location. There's a default one, and it's just any method means you can do anything, right? Get, head, option, patch, post, put, any request like that is able to handle that. In my case, I actually created a dev version. That's a newly deployed version. Let me show you what that looks like. So if you're clicking here, you have an invoke URL. And boom, there you go. You are all set. So once you have this invoke URL, you just need the payload, and you can make your API call. So let me take you back to this Jupyter notebook. Now this all makes sense. You have your invoke API, you have your JSON payload, you have your headers, and you just make a post API call using request package in Python. And this is actually a built-in package, so you don't actually need to install anything. So there you go, just like that. Now this API is up and live, and you can get that into pretty much any front-end languages. So on the instruction manual down here, I actually have the same API structure in Node.js, which you can see the script here, and you can also do it in Swift, which is the front-end language for iOS product. So for example, if you're going to build a mobile app using iOS platform, and then you're going to release that app on iPhone App Store, then Swift is the go-to language. And it's kind of like the structure of script that can allow you to make this API call. There you go. So hopefully you like today's episode. Hopefully today's episode give you a lot of good information to help you see how things can play together from just an idea to how it works in production. Thank you for watching. Subscribe and like.